Hi there, and welcome to a follow-up on our first presentation of D.R.E.S.S for weight loss success. The second video is basically a remake of the first one. We've expanded a little bit on the slideshow and didn't want to remove the first YouTube video, but I would recommend that you rather have a look at the second video because there's a lot more information and a lot more useful tips in the slide presentation. Just to give you a quick background, my name is Dr. Plessis. I'm a homeopath practicing in South Africa. I've got a very keen interest in weight loss, nutrition, and exercise. And basically, I've put together D.R.E.S.S for weight loss success as a 5-step plan to assist you in losing weight. It's not only for weight loss, it's also to regain our health and our happiness. Because I found that a lot of my patients struggle with metabolic diseases, chronic diseases, that's directly related to their eating habits and their lifestyle. And I've put together this 5-step plan just to assist them and also just to put them on the right track. We will in future expand on it. This is basically just the framework or the outline on what I recommend to help you with weight loss and also to regain your health. So allow me the next few minutes just quickly run through it. So firstly, the D in D.R.E.S.S. D.R.E.S.S is a 5-point plan, like I said, to help you with weight loss, health and happiness. The D in D.R.E.S.S is for diet, because 80% of weight loss is directly related to diet. I don't really like the word diet. I would rather like to say lifestyle eating plan, because what we eat should be a lifestyle. That's the only way to change it. You know, these diets that we go on, these fad diets, really does not work. We really need to change our attitude towards food and attitude towards what we put in our mouths and change our lifestyles. Yeah, most people are so used to the word diet, so that's what we used. What do I mean by diet? Diet is a lifestyle eating plan. I normally say to most of my patients that we should eat to live and not live to eat, because in most of the countries these days we live to eat, and we unfortunately eat a sad diet. So standard American diet of starches and proteins, and that's where the problem comes in, because a lot of the food that we eat is refined carbohydrates, which is really not very good for our bodies. We're choosing a culture of death these days, and we should really look at choosing a culture of life. And we can also only choose a culture of life if we start eating real food. And what do I mean by real food? Real food is anything that's got one ingredient. So if there's more than one ingredient in any type of food, is a processed food, and you should not really be eating it. So if you get to a shelf and you look at the ingredients and there's 5 or 10 or 20 ingredients on the food, then you can know that it's a heavily processed food, and most of it is laden with all sorts of chemicals that your body struggles to digest, and also laden with all sorts of sugars that your body really can't cope with, and that's why it gets converted into fat. So normally what I say to my clients is shop the perimeter of the food store and look at getting a lot of free fresh vegetables and a lot of proteins into your diet. There's a few lifestyle eating plans that we do recommend. The first one is the page diet, and we will expound on that a little bit further in following slideshows. Then I also do believe that the paleo ancestral primal diet is highly beneficial, and also the raw food diet. If we listen to followers of all these diets, there is some advantages and also some disadvantages, and I will discuss it a little bit later in details, but you cannot really go wrong with any of these 3 plans. The only thing with the raw food diet, sometimes the people become a little bit deficient in proteins. So very important to look at getting enough protein on a raw food diet. And the basic premise of all these diets is to cut out white sugar and refined carbohydrates. So I normally say anything that's white is not on. You should really try and avoid it from your diet, because it's really not good for you, because it causes inflammation, causes weight loss, causes all sorts of metabolic diseases. So really try and the starting point for anything as far as your diet and your lifestyle eating plan is to cut out white sugar and cut out refined carbohydrates. The R in D.R.E.S.S stands for rest, and by rest I mean getting sufficient sleep. Most of us don't get sufficient sleep, either in hours or not sleeping deeply enough. Also being disturbed by environmental factors from the outside and inside, noise, artificial light. So it's very important to get at least 8 to 10 hours sleep a night. It should be in a dark room, so just make sure that your curtains are nice and thick and that you don't get any extra light from outside affecting us, because our bodies work on a day-night cycle and it's regulated by light. So if you get any artificial light exposure, your body does not rest properly. So try and get all the electronic disturbances and excessive light out of your room as well. So try not to have a TV or a computer in your room. Try to get to bed early and try to rise early. We should ideally go to bed with the sun, but it's not always practical and rise with the sun. So important to look at that and keep that in mind as far as our sleeping goes. There's a few bits of technology that can help with this, and one of the pieces of technology that I recommend is for the iPhone, and it's the sleep cycle alarm clock. I would recommend that you can have a look at iTunes just to read a little bit on the internet about it, and it might just be beneficial to you. D.R.E.S.S for exercise. Exercise is very, very important because most of us don't move enough these days. We generally sit in front of our computers, lie in front of a TV, drive in the car. We don't move at all. So it's important just to get moving. I normally say, please try and get outside when you move. Try and get some fresh air. Try and get some sunlight exposure. But what's very important to exercise, the keys to exercise is firstly, play. Do something that you really enjoy, because then you will stick to it. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it, because it won't be sustainable. It's not something that you can make a lifestyle or incorporate into your lifestyle and sustain for a long period of time. But the bottom line of all of this is that we really just need to start moving again. If you look at the animals around us, they move a lot. If you look at kids, they constantly want to move. And we basically integrate our minds and our bodies by playing and moving around. We also get some oxygen into our bodies. We get our circulation going. So it's very, very important to get some exercise. What I recommend every week, 3 to 5 hours of movement at a moderate pace. What I mean by moderate pace, about 55% of your maximum exertion level. So if you're exercising with somebody, you should still be able to communicate with them. Movement at a moderate pace can be rowing, walking, cycling, swimming, anything that you enjoy. Playing frisbee on the beach, playing in the water, surfing, doing yoga, as long as it's something that you enjoy. At least 3 to 5 hours a week, which is also beneficial, very beneficial for the body. As far as weight loss goes, is to lift some heavy objects at least twice a week. And this can take the form of yoga once again. You can do some kettlebell exercises. You can go to gym if that is what you enjoy. Or just doing some weight resistance or body resistance exercises, things like pull-ups and push-ups. Very, very good for you. And then once a week, you should do a sprint session or interval session where you just do it at a little bit of a higher pace. This can also take the form of swimming or running or cycling, just at a very high intensity, at least once a week. I do recommend, for a little bit of more information, also some background reading, that you look at the Primal Blueprint Fitness. It's a guide. It's a free ebook by Mark Sisson. He's a very well-known leader in the world on primal fitness and also the paleo diet. I've learned got a lot of good information from Mark's writings in his books, and I really enjoy his Primal Blueprint Fitness ebook. So I would recommend, if you want some more insights or some background, please download this book and use it. The S in D.R.E.S.S for stress reduction. Most of us have very high levels of stress these days, be it because of work, financial stress, or our surroundings. And we really need to look at constructive ways to reduce stress. And I have a few suggestions. First thing that I would recommend is deep breathing. Also helps to get some oxygen into your body and just calms your nervous system. And I've put 2 links on here of websites where you can go and look for some more information. Dr. Wheel, very well-known doctor in complementary medicine. He's also got a very, very nice audio program for breathing exercises combined with walking. And then I've also found authenticbreathing.com. The information on deep breathing is excellent, so please go have a look there. M-Wave is a little piece of technology that just helps us with coherence and just reduces our stress levels. What I like about this is that you can actually measure your stress level by using the M-Wave and also track your progress over a period of time. So also a very useful tool in reducing stress. Meditation. Excellent way of reducing stress. And once again, the iPhone comes to the rescue. There's a lot of very good apps around these days that can take you through some guided meditations. One of the ones that I really enjoy is the Relax and Rest guided meditations by Meditation Oasis. I can really recommend this app. But go and have a look at iTunes. Go and look at the iTunes store. There's a lot of guided meditation applications or apps out there, and I'm sure there's something that you'll find that you will enjoy. Yoga is an excellent way of getting some exercise. What I really enjoy about yoga is that there's a physical, mental, emotional, and a spiritual part of yoga. So it's a whole body exercise or whole body movement. For those of you that can't get to yoga classes, there's Yoga Glow, which is basically online yoga classes on the internet. So if you have time constraints and you can't get to a yoga class, I would recommend having a look at it. It's always better to rather go to a yoga class and where there's an instructor so that they can make corrections and just make sure that you don't hurt yourself and also that you get the maximum benefit from yoga. Long walks, focusing on breathing and being in the now. It's a very important way of reducing stress, and it's something that is very inexpensive and that you can do outside. So it combines a whole lot of factors. What I normally recommend is that you walk barefoot on the beach, breathing some fresh air and getting some sunlight, because it will also pick up your vitamin D levels. It will reduce your stress, get some oxygen into your body. It will ground you and also reduce inflammation in your body. So yes, once again, 2 links that I've given for some more information on it. Some very, very good information at these two links, not just on walking and breathing, but also walking meditation. What we often forget is that stress is not only emotional stress, but there's also physical stresses on the body. And these are caused by all the chemicals in our environment. So one of the things that I really recommend we do is to look at the foods that we eat and try and reduce those that contain a lot of chemicals. And you can find a lot of information on the internet about that. The second thing that adds a lot of chemicals and stress to our body is not drinking clean water, just water out of a tap. It's important to look at drinking some spring water, some filtered water. And I also recommend that we really try and reduce the exposure to chemicals in our environment. And the ways that we can do this is to look at more organic products as far as body products go, and also in our homes, look at things that's less harsh chemicals. There is a lot of very nice organic biodegradable products for cleaning your house. So really try and make that change. There's big problems these days with heavy metals because we're surrounded by heavy metals. There's a lot of heavy metal exposure, not just from amalgam fillings, but from aluminum in cans and so on and so forth. We will see in the supplementation slide next that I do recommend that you look at hair mineral analysis, because that will give you a very good indication of your heavy metals. And you really need to reduce the load of heavy metals in your body because it's got a negative impact on your mineral balance. And it also blocks a lot of your body's natural detoxification processes. So one of the things that I found that work very, very well for reducing heavy metals in the body is the far infrared sauna. And I would recommend, if you have access to one, if you can afford one, it will really, really be beneficial to look at far infrared sauna at least once a day. S for supplementation. And why is the supplementation last? I believe that we should address all the other issues first. So we should get our diets right, we should get proper rest, we should get exercise and reduce our stress, and then only look at supplementation. Most people run to supplementation first, and that should really, really be the last step that we should look to. We've become so used to looking at a magic pill, magic bullet to sort everything else out. But we really need to change our lifestyles and the way we approach it, and our thought patterns and approaches to how we live. For all my patients, I recommend a hair mineral analysis, and that just helps us to individualize the supplementation program for each individual, because all of us are different and all our deficiencies are different, and therefore we can't all take the same vitamins and minerals. I've given these 2 links. Analytical Research Lab is a very well-known lab in America, does hair mineral analysis. They've been around for a very long time. A very reputable lab. I use them for all my clients, my patients. And then also a very nice article from Dr. Wilson, just give you an indication or an intro into hair mineral analysis and why it's so vitally important to look at hair mineral analysis. So one of the things that I really would recommend that you have a look at. If you feel that you need to supplement and you don't want to go through everything, all the process or hair mineral analysis, one of the things that I do recommend is you supplement with some vitamin D, because most people are very deficient in vitamin D because we don't get enough sunlight exposure. And a good source of vitamin D is cod liver oil. It will also provide you with some vitamin A. Second thing that I recommend that most people take is a good omega-3 supplement, because most of us is very deficient in the essential fatty acids, and most of us in our diet get way too much omega-6 and omega-9 oils in. And in this case, I would recommend that you look at a fish oil source like salmon oil. And brewer's yeast, simple food stuff that's very high in B vitamins and also in chromium, will help to balance blood sugar. And then Brazil nuts, very important for vitamin E and also for some selenium. So just to recap on the 5-step plan for weight loss, health and happiness. D, firstly, diet. R for rest. E for exercise. S for stress reduction. S for supplementation. I hope that this has put you on the right track and it's given you some background on where we're moving in the future. We will be doing slide presentations and videos on each of the different subsections, just to give you some more information and help you on the right path. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. If there's any comments, let us know. And if there's anything that you would like us to expand about or on a little bit more, please let us know and we can look at doing some slide presentations or some videos in future on that. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you found some benefit from this.